good to get some reaction from the boss, Arne Slot, there, understandably elated with that performance from the Reds. It was interesting, he said, wasn't it, about bouncing back after the Manchester City result with a great performance and win against Sunderland and then another win tonight. Did it feel like a defining week in terms of, after that City result, exactly what Liverpool needed?
Yeah, I think so, because, for large part, okay, City probably had the upper hand in the first half, but then the second half, Liverpool were all over them. We found ourselves ahead with an unbelievable finish from, like Dom saying, as always, we seem to be talking about how good his goals are, but things changed and they panned out how they did. But then the reaction to go to Sunderland, the Stadium of Light's a really difficult place to go. The performance that we put on showed the reaction and the quality that we have in this squad, and then to go on again, it was one of them ones where we needed a result and we went out and got a result. So it's a real positive week. The biggest, obviously, downside to that is losing Water. But tonight, the main things about tonight are, like he said, clean sheet, 3 goals, no injuries, and the players will get a well-earned rest.
Mohamed Slot's never too high, never too low, is he? He always feels quite measured in his reflections on things. But secretly, do you think he'll know just how significant the last 2 results have been when you're thinking about getting in those Champions League spots for next season and potentially getting a trophy?
Yeah, and I think potentially it could have been a lot worse, after the City defeat with Chelsea and then Man United in midweek, both draw and give us a bit of a boost. Then us go to getting the points of Sunderland. So we've closed that gap a little bit. It's not been too catastrophic, but the gaffer's a bit of a perfectionist, isn't he? So, he would have wanted that victory over City, but it is what it is. It was a decent second half performance against City. Sunderland was brilliant performance, good solid away performance, and this again has enabled us to draw a lot of positivity. We do look back to something like we did last year. We got a bit more tempo, got some legs in there. What the gaffer's talking about there, rotating the squad and trying to keep everybody fresh. I mean, it's a valid point because we've got a small squad. We've let a lot of players go in the summer, and we've only brought in 4 or 5 really. So, yeah, the squad is a bit thin. We've been unfortunate with injuries and suspensions, but we're going to have to make do and kick on.
Welcome back to Matchday Live. We are still here braving the weather at Anfield, but let's head inside to the tunnel now where Pete McDowell has been catching up with the manager Arne Slot.
Well, boss, congratulations. It's been a really good week. Followed up a great result in midweek with that progression to the last 16 now.
Yeah, it's been a good week. It could have been a really good week. Then we should have won against City, which we maybe deserved. But I think if you look at the last 5, 6, 7, 8 games, for me at least, it's clear to see the progression we've made. And that progression is mainly physical. So we are much more able now to play 3 games in 7 or 8 days, which we struggled with a lot in the first part of the season.
Was that part of the selection process tonight as well? You managed to give some players that rest. You spoke about it on Friday. You were losing sleep over what to do because that risk versus reward is such a big risk at times.
Yeah, it's a real difficult one because we want to compete in the FA Cup, we want to compete in every league we are playing in, but on the other hand it's constantly 13 to 14 the same players, and 1 or 2 of them were on the edge a few times already, tight hamstrings or other issues. So I wanted to come out with a strong team today and not make too many substitutions, but I cannot take the risk of another injury, and that's a difficult balance sometimes to fight. Now people would say, you made the right choice, but yeah, that's always when you win. People always think you made the right choice, and if you lose, it's 99 out of 100 times the wrong choice.
Loads of positives tonight. Your right back scores. Good news with a right back for a change. Mo gets a goal and an assist, and another goal for Dom Soboslai. That there's going to be an archive of these, isn't there? Just brilliant goals week after week. He's now into double figures for the year.
Yeah, that's not a surprise to me, and I think Dominic is another example of a player that came from the Bundesliga 2.5 years ago, in the progress he's made at his age. That is something I think we can on a similar level expect from Florian, from Hugo, from all the others we've signed. So that is the beneficial thing of signing young players. Sometimes they need a bit of time to adapt, especially when they come to a new league, to a new country. But the moment they adapt, there's a lot of progress possible, and Dominic I liked him already so much last season, but this season he's even more special, and I think I see the same pattern for Florian and Hugo already happening. and that's why I've said so many times that the future looks bright for Liverpool.
Another clean sheet as well. You'd be delighted with that, won't you? Ali was magnificent tonight when called upon.
Yeah, a very important save just before half time. I think so many times I've stood here saying first chance they had went in, but that definitely wasn't the case today. Not for the first time for Brighton. I think they've been really unlucky throughout the season, which was tonight for us a good thing. But because they had two very good opportunities in the first half, a header from the corner that was quite open, and that one-on-one that Ali saved. And as a result of this, you go in at half-time with 1-0, and not much later we scored a second, and then you feel that that the game is ours, and even more after our scoring the 3-0.
And just finally a chance for a breather as well. No game midweek. I mean, the rest is as important now, isn't it, to get players just at that level again? You talk about the games every three days.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that if you play so many games, which you have to do if you're a Premier League side playing in the Champions League, trying to go all the way in the League Cup or in the FA Cup, that's why so many teams have so big squads. We have a bit of a different model, and we've been very unlucky with long-term injuries. That's why it's constantly on the same 13, 14 players. And then you need to take care of them, and a way of taking care of them is also giving them rest. So they indeed will have a few days off now, but we will have enough time to prepare us in the best possible way for Forest, which is again another challenge. I've been here now for 1.5 years. Haven't been able to beat them, let alone. Yeah, no, I haven't been able to win against them. Only one draw, I think. Yeah, 2 losses. So that tells you how difficult Forest is for us. So we have to prepare really well for next week.
Well done. Thanks, Boss.
Now let's step away from the first team for just a moment, as earlier today the Liverpool under-18s welcomed Leeds to the Kirkby Academy. It was quite the way to bounce back from their Merseyside derby defeat last weekend, as a hat-trick from Josh Abbey helped the Reds rack up an impressive 6-1 victory. Lucas Clark, Josh Sonilambi and Prince Cisse also scored as they secured 3 points in the under-18s Premier League North contest. Abbey got the only goal of the first half, but in an 11-minute period after the break, Liverpool scored 4 goals to end the contest. Sam Olker got Leeds' consolation effort late on, making the final score 6-1 to the Reds. Well, Jay, the derby defeat aside, the under-18s have been on such good form since the turn of the year, haven't they? What have you made of them?
Do you know what? I think both sides, 18s and 21s, have made a real positive start to the new year. I think, going into Christmas, we've had 2 new managers come in at under 18 level, at under 21 level too. So we've took our time to try and change philosophies of ideas of how we want to play and how we want things to look. And now the players have started to bed in and see what we want and what we want from them fundamentally, and also what's coming aligned from the first team down. The teams are starting to grow, and they're starting to exploit teams and show the abilities that both sets of group have. And there's a great sign today that the lads critical in front of goal. They'll be hugely disappointed. Simon will be disappointed with that. Leeds getting that goal when you're 6-0 up. You want to keep that